What's up everybody, it's your boy the Critic Kid, and man, it's been a long time, hasn't it? I've really missed making these YouTube videos, there's something really cathartic about making, editing, and sharing a video with the YouTube community. You know what I haven't missed though? Playing these terrible games. But I digress. Over my extremely long hiatus, I've gotten really into fighting games too. You're listening to a one-time Street Fighter 3 champion and a two-time Street Fighter 4 runner-up. With that being said, we're taking it back. Way back to Nintendo's best portable console and the successor to the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo DS. We're going to be taking a look at the Nintendo DS's best fighting games, according to this Metacritic list. Taking a look at this list, you can tell there's only 13 fighting games on the DS, which is extremely lackluster, especially since it was on store shelves for 10 whole years. And that's unacceptable. Where's the love for fighting games on here? In any case, we'll be taking a look at games with a score above 70 on this list. Alright, first up, we got Draglade. Based on the Wiki trailer, it looks like a crazy mix between a rhythm and fighting game, with a variety of characters to choose, kind of like a new age Tobal No. 1. Let's see if anybody gets that reference. A little trivia for the uninitiated, Tobal No. 2, the game's sequel, actually has the record for the most characters in a fighting game, with over 200. But yeah, back to Draglade. The game was developed by Dimps, who has a great track record for developing fighting games, including both of the Xenoverse games and Street Fighter 4 and 5, along with a few others. Man, that really gets me pumped up for this game. I'm ready. Man, I'm loving this intro. I'm getting some anime vibes from it. I wonder if it's going to be an anime fighter like Guilty Gear. By the way, you might have saw Guilty Gear on that list I showed you earlier. It looks interesting, but it has less than a 70 on Metacritic, so no beans. Oh. Alright, let me establish something for anybody who might be confused. This is not a fighting game. This is an action RPG. The same thing goes for Custom Robo Arena, so I won't be looking at that either. I mean, come on. Does this look more like this or this? Exactly. I don't know what kind of goofball, what kind of bozo thought they could sneak two RPGs into the fighting game list, the desperately short fighting game list, and think nobody would notice. But I know what some of you out there are saying. Critic, they're fighting though. Okay. Well, based on your logic, Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue is an open world adventure game on the same level as GTA 5. I mean, come on. There's a world. It's open. You can ride your bike through it. Have a good old time. You see how that line of thinking is flawed? But okay, so we can avoid confusion in the comments and all that. Let's look at the Wikipedia article on fighting games. What does it take to be a fighting game? Well, the player has to control a character and engage in close combat. Alright, so that's a check for both. The player has to be able to block, counterattack, and chain attacks into combos. Well, Draglade gets a check, but Custom Robo Arena falls slightly behind with its simplistic mech combat. And finally, players must drain the opponent's health bar to win the round. Whoever wins the best of 3 rounds wins the match. And Draglade does not succeed here because it's an action RPG. Look, I'm saying all this to say it's not a fighting game. That doesn't mean it's not a good or even great game, it just means it doesn't deserve to be in this list. With all of that being said, now we can take a look at something. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not a huge fan of the Mortal Kombat games before Deception. Nonetheless, we're looking at Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and Puzzle Combat. But come on, not Puzzle Combat. I want to fight enemies, not terrible game design. I mean, look at this. This is what you want? So yeah, Mortal Kombat 3. What can I really say? There's a lot of special move spam. There's only one type of attack that can be punished. It's quote unquote arcade perfect. Just saying that makes me want to puke. It definitely keeps the arcade game's visuals, and it's dated. I know there are some of you in the audience who probably grew up with this game, but come on. Let's take the nostalgic goggles off for just a second and just look at it objectively. The game doesn't look great. Well, it played alright. in the arcade at least. Man, the DS was sorely lacking an analog stick. I'm glad the 3DS finally added that. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but Shang Tsung just can't transform. He can't do them in any of them after Mortal Kombat 6 either, but he was able to do it in this game, and all of the other ports. And yeah, I mentioned briefly the game is hard. The game is deadly difficult. Yeah, the computer knows the longest combo, and it knows how to easily execute it, one after the other. So if you're not blocking, which you're not because the R button really digs into your index finger, then the round is going to end in about 10 seconds, if that. But hey, if you have a DS and you're really infatuated with Mortal Kombat, which doesn't seem like a likely combination, and you're not afraid of legitimate physical pain from trying to block, then yeah, this game's for you. Hope you can deal with screen tearing and the sound cutting out randomly, a problem that I don't usually have with DS games. And next up, the first game in the green with the 75 on Metacritic, WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2010. I'm surprised by how robust the customization system is in this game. I mean, the rest of it is average, even subpar, but the customization system is A+. I made Guile and Sub-Zero, but I'm only showing Guile right now. After you make your awesome character, you head on down to story mode. Now, the story mode in this game may be kinda lame, but the quote-unquote story arcs in the actual WWE are pretty lame too, so I'll give that a pass for the most part. So you start up the game, you watch Triple H beat up Big Show for a little bit and win some sort of title. I'm not sure which one it is, but he looks pretty happy about it. You're in a hallway talking to the "you're fired" guy. You're fired! Yeah, that one. Triple H comes up to you, beats you up off screen, and you're on your way. Come to this guy's office, talk to him for a sec, he pays you to leave, and you go. We go to the gym, talk to an Irish man in a leotard, and he tells us to leave him alone. Man, Kyle is just not having a good day. We see the same Irishman at the hospital. He tells us he'll leave this time, and he just vanishes. More things of no consequence happen, and now we have to fight the Irishman. Oh yeah, I've been skipping over it, but this game definitely has a dialogue system. Generally, the top option is what they want to hear. The bottom option will get you some funny looks. If you lie to the Irishman, you'll get a card. There are probably more opportunities to earn stuff through dialogue farther along in the story, but this is where I stopped. And now, what I've been trying to avoid talking about for the last minute or so, the actual wrestling. Before we even get into the wrestling, take a look at this. Notice the way Finlay's model stretches and jumps before it returns to its normal size. And this isn't just an error with my game and my emulator. I've seen it a few times on gameplays on YouTube. And these people were playing on a real DS with a capture card. But besides that, I have a little nitpick that only competitive fighting game fans would understand. I didn't change my moves, alright? So the moves that I have are default for Create a Superstar. And the startup on the default punch, which is how long it takes before the move actually hurts the opponent, is unbelievably long. And of course there's no frame data on this game. Why would anybody need frame data for a mediocre DS game that nobody played, never mind played competitively? But I'm just saying, you can tell by the gameplay. By the time my character thinks about throwing a punch, Finlay already grabbed me, pinned me, had a cup of tea, and went on to his next match. And the game overall just feels unresponsive. Even now, I'm not even sure if I was really blocking those punches like I thought I was. The generic punch sound effects can barely be heard over the generic crowd sound effects. Overall, this gets a 2 leotards out of 5 from me. And if this game had a create a move mode, I might have bought a DS Lite just for it. And that's going to be all for my first comeback video of many. Next time, Peril on Dinosaur Planet. Alright everybody, I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.